Hey, everybody, welcome to Love and Reload, the voice of the relocation industry. I am your host, Ben Cross, and I'm so blessed and honored to be here with my friend, Alice Fu. How are you doing, Alice? For Corpay, what's going on, Alice?
Good, good. And it was really great meeting you. I met Ben at the FEM conference, then again
Yeah.
at the Love and Relo 500 episode event. And it was really great to see him bring the community together and people flying in just for the day. So that was really nice.
Yeah, that was I mean, first the FEM event was great. That was my first FEM. What was your impression from that?
It was also my first FEM, so very great experience. Good to see all the partners that we have in the industry.
I like seeing people get dressed up. I'm a
Yeah.
sucker for a tux, a gown. Give me some nice formal attire and give me a chance to wear my blue tux, and I'm like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, and I think people loosen up during the day. Obviously, you have your case competitions. We got some valuable insight and heard a lot of the speakers there. But at night, everyone loosens up a little bit, and sort of you can meet your friends and catch up.
Oh yeah,
So
once the champagne starts flowing, things start happening. Let's check in here. Get in the comments. I want to know who you are, where you are. We are going to be talking about global payments, why that's important. We're going to be talking about Alice, who's relatively new-ish to the global mobility space, and she just did a relocation herself from gorgeous, chilly Toronto down here to the DF Dub. Want to get her take on the heat situation, the culture, all that kind of cool stuff. And yeah, thanks so much for coming out to the Love and Reload 500 event. By the way, that was really cool to have you come out for that.
yeah, and you had a lot of great speakers. I mean, Dr. Prague
Mhm.
and his book talking about where everyone is moving for a better life. That was super relevant to us because I just got here 4 months ago.
I mean, you literally just did some of that.
I really literally just did some of that and seeing all the stats of where everyone else is moving and what they think is a higher quality of life. So
It's really interesting. We got people checking in right now. Get in the comments, hit that like button. I want to know what you think about what we're talking about here. But one of the things I found interesting about Dr. Parag Khanna when he was speaking is the United States is no longer the number one destination for expat talent. Supposedly, I'm just not sure still if I believe it, although he's a very convincing person. But it's your country, home country of Toronto, of Canada,
yeah,
where people are most likely to want to go.
yep.
But yet you came here. So I feel like we won, actually. Forget what they say.
Yeah,
Very
and I think
competitive.
everyone's going to prioritize different things, equality of life. Texas does not have state income tax.
Yes.
Um,
How's the tax situation compare so far? I know it's early days still, but
it's
y'all
better.
have higher taxes up there too,
Yep,
federally too, right?
yep, yep. A lot more taxes up in Canada. Um, Very cold
Yes.
for 6 months out of the year. Obviously, politics are a bit different.
Uh-huh.
So a lot of changes, but overall things are great here in Texas. We're settling in really well. Everyone's been super nice. I met a whole bunch of the North Texas relocation professional folks
Yes. NTRP
and
shout out. What's up?
NTRP, and everyone's just been super welcoming. And they actually mean it when, you know, they say that they're going to take you out and show you around.
Well,
And
you're probably talking about Aaron Flores.
I'm talking about
Aaron
Aaron.
Flores is the mayor of Dallas. He will take you out, show you a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aaron's awesome like that. Yeah, get in the comments here. And if you have any opinions on now that Alice is down here in Texas, if there's a place that she needs to see as she's getting her becoming indoctrinated with Texas, put it in the comments here. We got people checking in. Hit that like button here. We got people, let's see, Jana checking in. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Always awesome to see the in-person vibes. What up, Brazil? Jana's on the team here. Love Jana. Adam, super producer Adam on the ones and twos back there. Hey, hey, from the sun, otherwise known as Dallas. Yeah, it does feel like the surface of a cold sun. Let's see, everyone from Boston. What's up? Beantown in the house. That's Nori. What's up, Nori? Michelle. Greetings from DF Dub. I saw Michelle at the 11 Reel 500 as well. I think I met Michelle at an airport, like at the baggage claim one time.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how friendly we are.
Was it after a conference?
It was. I was
Okay, yeah.
coming back from a conference. I forget which one, Michelle, and we were like waiting because at DFW, I don't know how many times you've flown into DFW, had the pleasure, but you will wait 35, 40 minutes for your bag.
Apparently, there's 60 million people that go through that airport per day. Maybe I'm getting my stats wrong.
60 sounds like a lot,
Okay.
but like maybe per year.
Okay.
I don't know, but there's like one person working the baggage claim. Like bring some potato salad because you're gonna hang out, but it's gonna be a picnic. You're gonna meet people like Michelle. What's up, Mark? Mark, welcome Alice from the local scene here in Dallas. What's up, Mark? Any suggestions for Alice as she's getting acclimated? Love to know, what is your number one tip for fitting in Dallas? Put it in the comments. Well, that's cool. So you're getting involved in NTRP. You're getting involved with FEM. You're getting. You came to 11 Relo 500.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like you're doing all the right things here. It feels like you're at the epicenter of the global mobility universe here in Dallas.
Yeah, and I also visit Toronto quite often because that is my home. And I do have family back there, so I might be hitting up that IAM conference.
IAM, for those of you who don't know, and if you don't know, you must be living under a rock because we talk about it all the time here on the show, the International Association of Movers Conference in October. Adam, do we know the dates? October 9th through 12. That's why he's the producer. October 9th through 12. Somebody's got to work around here. Yeah. Are you going to go to that?
Yeah.
That is the largest conference in the global mobility space. And a lot of people don't know about it because they think it's just for movers.
Yeah.
But you've got DSPs there. DSPs do immigration. They do corporate housing. You've got relocation management companies who are there talking to suppliers. I mean, you've got a lot of stuff going on there. Do you work with, like, what are some of the types of companies that you work with at Corpay? And tell us a little bit about Corpay too, because to be honest, I wasn't super familiar. And then now that I met you, I'm starting to understand a little bit about it. But first, tell me, what is Corpay? What is the problem that y'all solve?
Yeah, so people are always curious how the concept of foreign currency plugs into the global mobility space. So Corpay cross-border, we're essentially the largest non-bank provider of foreign currency transactions in North America at this point.
The largest non-bank provider of foreign currency transactions in North America.
So we've transacted about 80 billion per year.
That's a lot of money.
And
I just do a little piece of that.
We sit under the FleetCor umbrella, which is publicly traded on the New York Stock Exchange, with a market cap of 20 billion. And so we are one of the largest players in the game, and that allows us to sort of facilitate a lot of the payments to the exotic and emerging markets currencies.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So I never really thought much about this. I have kind of a admittedly US domestic centric kind of viewpoint on things, and I'm expanding my worldview a little bit here.
Yeah, and we plug in into the global mobility space quite well. I know there's a lot of RMCs that use us to facilitate their payments to their in-country partners, or if they're relocating their staff worldwide, there's always a flow of funds, and we're the ones facilitating a lot of those payments.
So you're working with RMCs to help them handle payments. Now, is it payments to, expat and assignees? Is it payments to their vendor partners?
Both.
All of that.
Yeah, all of that, whether they're sending payments within their own entities to their subsidiaries, we're facilitating those payments as well.
Sure, intercompany kind of stuff.
Yeah, and Corpay also has a domestic payment side. So we're essentially the largest issue of MasterCard in North America as well, which is the domestic side.
Wow, so y'all touch it. Now what else? Do you touch other parts of global mobility besides the relocation management company? Do you work with other types of suppliers?
Yeah, so we're in the logistics space as well. Corporate housing, if they have different entities in different countries, recruitment companies like yourself, if you have different entities, and for example, if you do have staff worldwide, we we are making those payments to your
Yeah, I mean, we
staff.
do. We have staff in the Philippines and in Brazil.
Yep.
So that makes sense to me. And we just made our first placement in Geneva in Switzerland the
Yeah.
first quarter this year. And like after we made the placement, we're like going to bill it, and we're like, do we bill this
Yep.
in US dollars, or do
Yep.
we bill it because we get a percentage of their salary, and their salaries
Yep.
in Swiss franc, I guess.
Mhm.
And what's the exchange, and like at what point in time is the exchange?
Yep. And we're gonna just take the confusion out of that. For a lot of larger RMCs, we're essentially helping them build out a risk management strategy. So, for example, if they have contracts of $1 million, by the time they fulfilled those contracts, and if the market's moved against you, it's no longer $1 million. So we're helping them protect themselves against any market volatility.
Wow. And that's so interesting, because I was literally just having a conversation about exchange rate with one of our team members, right? Because I mean, that thing moves all the time.
Yeah.
So at one point, our exchange could be 4-to-1, or it could be 5-to-1.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's a swing of 20-25%.
Yep. And if you're
over the
doing
course of a
that,
year.
yeah, and if you're doing that on a bigger scale, like some of our partners, it's definitely makes a big difference.
Yeah, I can imagine. That thing moves the wrong way on you. You don't know what you're not paying attention. All of a sudden, like,
Yeah.
I mean, if your margin, think about that. The example I just gave. So the currency in Brazil, right? The Brazilian real,
Real.
hey, whatever you want to call it, to the American dollar, right? Oscillates between 4-to-1 and 5-to-1,
Mhm.
four and a half to 1. So that's a change of, like, let's say 15-20%. And if you're operating on a 20% gross profit margin,
Yep.
that could literally be your entire profit on a
Yep.
deal. Like, it's not minor, it's not pennies, it's major.
Exactly. And that's what we're trying to protect our clients against.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. We got people checking in here. Hit that like button. I want to know what your questions are. Have you thought about foreign currencies? Like, or is this like something that doesn't even touch you and what you're doing? Or is this something you're like, yeah, actually, this has happened to me, or this is a problem I've experienced? I'd love to know what your thoughts are here. We got people checking in here. This is great. Michelle's saying, yeah, thanks for the shout out. Yes, we met at the DFW after Worldwide ERC last October. Alice, Michelle's a recent transplant to Dallas also.
Okay.
She says the drivers are crazy here, but they will let you in no matter what.
Yeah. So I actually talked.
Fast but polite.
Yeah. So I actually talked with Acme Shipping, Charles, about
Charles Beatty.
Yeah, about moving down a motorcycle and a boat, but now I'm not so sure about the motorcycle just because of the drivers.
Yeah, I'd say keep the boat. The motorcycle is a little crazy, although Florida motorcyclists are even more bananas.
Yeah.
They'll stand on their motorcycle. What kind of bike you got?
A Ducati Monster.
Ducati Monster. As if Ducati was an explanation enough. It's actually called a Monster. What possessed you to get a Ducati Monster?
I've been riding for about 10 years. So
are you just like one of these thrill seekers, like doing a $120 on the highway?
No, I'm fairly reasonable, but I used to race off-road. So
you get a load of this.
I'm older now.
Yeah, that thing will end you. Like, all right, well, just be careful.
Yeah.
Gee, wow, I can't even. I knew a guy that like didn't even have his motorcycle license, bought a Ducati, and he like took his road test like with the Ducati, and he was like, that thing was like scooting out. Like, it's hard to. It's a lot of bike.
Yeah.
Ducati Monster.
Yeah.
Why? Okay, I'm sorry. Why is it called a Monster?
I actually don't know.
Is it like, okay, all right, I'm gonna stop. Wow, that's a lot of bike. All right, let's see. We got more questions coming in here. Comments. Get in the comments here. I want to know what you're thinking. We're talking foreign currency. We're talking about relocating from Canada to the U.S. We're talking about ERC. Nori saying ERC thoughts this October in Boston. Nori, be more specific. What do you mean? Yes, I think about it. Am I going? Is that the question? Are you going?
I don't know. Are you going?
I don't know. I feel like this is the first year in 12 years of my life where it's like, I don't know. You going? I don't know. Maybe I'll go. Are you going?
Actually, I think you and Charles were spitballing about a lot of home games. So that North Texas Relocation Professional Group is having their conference later in September.
September?
Yeah. And so there's quite a few events happening locally, so you don't even have to go anywhere.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, like I sent, I don't know, 5, 6 people to Worldwide ERC last year. Everybody registered and everything. And then we also Diamond sponsored the Party with a Purpose last year. Probably cost me like 30 grand, maybe more. The Wynn Casino is no joke. If they don't get you at the room, they'll get you at the tables, or they'll get you both ways if you're me. I don't know. This year, I'll be honest with you, like I might sit this one out. I might actually sit Worldwide ERC out this year. I don't know. More to come on that. Or maybe I just come and have a little party. I don't know. Mark saying, in addition to making payments, are you also able to bill corporate clients in local currencies? Ooh, good question, Mark. Is this something that you struggle with, Mark, or is this something that is a challenge? I'd love to know kind of what you've seen out there in terms.
Yeah, we can definitely bill in a local currency. I think our specialty is being able to deliver funds into some of the emerging markets sectors. So exotic currencies would be INR or Brazilian real.
INR, help me out. What is that mean?
Indian rupees.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
So we heard a lot of speakers at the FEM. Some of them are sending their staff with private security to some exotic locales, right?
Right.
And we're essentially, one of the players that are facilitating some of those payments. So, yeah.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah, Mark, love to hear what you're seeing out there with this. What percentage of payments, like, so say you work with like a relocation management company, are you handling all their payments, like merchant services, like a credit card, or are you just handling the ones that cross borders or cross currencies, I guess? Like, how do you plug in like that?
Yeah. So Corpay has the domestic transaction side, which is essentially the largest issuer of MasterCard. And so we would facilitate credit card payments on that side. And I'm on the cross-border side, so mainly facilitating the foreign currency transactions on their part. But as an entity, we're able to do both.
Yeah.
So ARPIN Group wrote us a really nice review on our website.
Oh, that's cool.
So essentially, we're sending thousands of domestic and foreign currency transactions for them. And they're a big RMC.
Wow. Yeah. ARPIN does a lot of international work and domestic work.
Yep.
Well-known name. I know Dave ARPIN family, good people. Let's see here. Michelle saying lots of payment and payroll requirements for expats. Question or assumption? I assume lots of money going home for foreign workers in the USA. Huh. Do you get involved with that, with like expats who want to like maybe send money back to, say, India or Mexico or Africa or wherever they're like from, maybe like home country?
We don't deal with a lot of individual clients, but as a corporate entity, we would send payments to specific employees in other regions.
So a company could pay their employees who are in another region.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't get involved with that employee making a personal
we don't
wire back home or something.
We don't deal with a lot of individual clients.
So they'd probably be more likely to do that through a bank or like their personal bank or something.
Yeah, personal bank. And Corpay has another entity which we acquired called Global Reach, and so we do individual transactions on that side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. But now let me ask you then, using that same thing. So if banks offer the ability, like I'll send a wire today to like Brazil or something like that.
Yep.
It is brutal. And I don't know if it's Brazil or just traditional US banks, but I'll do that once a month, right? I got to show up to the bank.
Yep.
I got to be there. I got to fill out the form. They got to warn me that it might be a scam. I got to say, yes, I know it's not a scam. I literally do this every month on the same date every month. I've done it in so many different states because I'll be traveling somewhere and I got to do it on the same date. Why is Corpay better than just using your bank for wires?
First of all, we're able to get much tighter margins on the exchange. So you're seeing more, your staff is seeing more money on the other side.
Yeah. I do suspect that the finance transaction fees are killing us. I suspect.
Yeah, and Corpay actually has a Swift GPI system, which would actually allow you to track where your payment is, almost like a UPS tracker. So you can see where the fees are being taken out of at the intermediary banks, which right now you
Ooh.
have no visibility.
You have no visibility, so you
Um,
can actually see. Okay, this person took this
Yep.
points. This person took this 20 points.
Yep, and we can see where on the journey it is, and you can sort of predict when your payment is going to arrive.
That is a lot of transparency
Yeah.
and granularity. That's cool. I like that. Nori's saying can't miss October in Boston. Yeah, I'll probably come. I just don't know if I'm gonna like register and do the whole deal or not. Mark, at the last ERC in Boston, Ben pirated my phone and took a selfie with it.
Oh no.
I don't know. I do that. Like sometimes. Okay, this is what I do. All right. Sometimes I like to help people.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start with that. I like to help people. If I see people are taking a selfie, I'll be like, "Yo, I'm actually pretty good at taking pictures.
Mhm.
I use portrait mode.
Mhm.
I check out Instagram for all these like picture taking like things. Adam's made me better as well. I'll
Yeah.
back way up to get depth of field. Then I'll use a 3x zoom, which gives you like a depth of field. I learned that on Instagram. I'll rotate it upside down to get a better angle for like short people, like children and stuff like that. You know, I do a lot. I do the most. And so if I see people trying to take a selfie, I'm like, yo, let me help you out. Let me turn you around. Let me get that light source on your face. I pride myself in this. I charge them. I do. And the cost is I will take a selfie. I'll take the liberty of taking a selfie of myself. So when
Okay.
I'm lining you up, I'll like get me and then I'll flip it back around and I'll take like 5 pictures and so like I tuck it in their roll,
Yeah.
you know, and so like, oh, that was good. Oh, that was really good. Oh, look at this. Oh, and then it's like my face.
Yeah.
That's just what I don't know why I do that.
No, it's good. You're friendly, and you have a lot of connections in the sector. So kudos to you.
All right. Well, thank you. That makes
Yeah.
me feel not 100% weird. Yeah, Mark, I did it. Mark. I don't know if it's GDPR compliant or not, but I did it. I'm not going to back away from it. I'm not going to apologize. Travis says kind of like buying a Hayabusa for your first bike and going to get your motorcycle license. That's the story. This dude right here,
Oh,
Travis
no.
Washer in Florida, bought a Hayabusa. It wasn't a Ducati. It was a Hayabusa. Do you know about the Hayabusas?
Yeah. 1,000 cc's.
That's a lot of bike.
Yeah.
This guy had no idea what he was doing.
Yeah.
I love him. He was like my best friend. And he bought a Hayabusa.
Is he okay?
Are you okay, Travis? Are you well, sir? Are you emotionally, spiritually, psychologically healthy? Physically, he's okay.
Okay.
The other stuff, we're not sure. Travis, love you, man. Hayabusa. Yeah, that's the dude. That's funny. I'm telling this story, and he's like watching.
Yeah.
It's like also Travis' like first comment on LOVE+RELO 5 years. Thanks, Travis. Appreciate you. Mark saying it is definitely a challenge for RMCs if they do not have a local entity in place. I've heard about this thing called, what is it called? Fapiao. You heard about this? It's like it's this Chinese. I don't know what it is. It's about payments, like to an organization in China. Like you also have to have an entity, or you have to pay some sort of a tax on the money. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, please save me. But I mean, it's called Fapiao, and it's only like I think it's only for China. And so just curious. That's another payment thing that comes up.
Okay.
Marks has a question. Do most of your relocation clients use spot rates on the day they make the payment?
It depends on how risk adverse you are. So
Mark is extremely risk averse.
okay, so then what we would advise is you go into forward contracts or limit orders, essentially to protect your position in the market.
What is a forward contract or a limit order?
Yeah, so forward contract is you're essentially pre-buying a determined amount at a specific rate. So let's say the rate today USD CAD is 1.3 to 1.
USD CAD, US dollar to Canadian dollar?
Let's just say that that's where it is right now, and you've booked a contract of 100K at that amount, and you'd like to protect your position. So sometimes we'd like to book in a forward contract or lock in that rate for a period of up to 12 months.
Wow.
So you're locking in that rate, right? And so let's say the rate moves against your favor. by the time you're fulfilling that contract, you're still getting 1.3.
What does it cost to do that? So if I know I'm going to make the same payment in a foreign currency every month, what does it cost me to lock in that rate?
It really depends on overall volumes, but there is an extra margin that the industry charges on booking forward contracts. So the longer you push out, the more margin. But again, it's almost like an insurance policy um, for currency.
Michelle's asking, is that like buying a future on a US dollar?
No.
It sounds kind of like, I mean, it sounds kind of like that, Michelle, but it's probably more complicated than that. Charles saying hi, Alice and Ben. Hi, Charles Beatty. Shout out to Charles. Gave Charles a shout out earlier. This is really interesting. This is something I've been in this business for, I don't know, 10 years probably. And this is not something I've heard discussed. It's not something that I've seen vendor partners in our space really. Um, what what got you into this and saying, you know what, we need to be in this space. We need to be actively, recruiting clients that are doing all this cross-border relocation, global mobility stuff. I mean, what brought you into the space?
We have quite a few clients in the sector, and we go to a lot of events, and sort of we're really digging into this industry just because of how relevant it is. Um, Global mobility, everyone's moving across the globe, right? And so you're going to have a lot of in-country partners. You're moving your staff. You're always going to have flow of funds, right?
Yeah.
So it's super relevant to the industry. We're really well tapped into a lot of our partners and clients, and so it's a great place to be.
Do you have any other associates who work in the global mobility vertical at your company?
Yeah.
Corpay?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'd love to meet him sometime. Mark is saying for China, thank you, Mark. Mark is, you know what? Mark gets the MVP award today. He's the most valuable person listening. Mark says for China, it's called a WFOE, a wholly foreign owned entity. The invoice is called a FAPIO. Thank you. So if I'm a wholly foreign owned entity, the invoice is called a FAPIO. And then Mark, help me understand, why do I care? Like, why is that important? What happens if I am a wholly foreign owned entity? Do I have to pay like an extra tax? Like, is there I'm very curious about this, Mark, since you're saving me up here. Yeah, this is really interesting. How long have you been in this space, Alice?
About 5 years.
5 years?
Yeah.
So what has been some of the the challenges that you've had in kind of communicating the need for this service? Like, is this something people are aware of? Is it something that they're not aware of, and then they like run into an issue, and then all of a sudden, like, oh crap, we need to figure this out?
I think most of our clients are aware of it. They're just handling it through their bank, for example, and they're not probably not getting the best rates. So what we offer is a very specialized product to be able to get them better rates, faster delivery on their payments, and visibility in terms of where your payment is. We can handle mass payouts. So a lot of our corporations are large entities, and you're reducing a lot of the manual work. So for example, there's some clients that we work with that are on checks, and we're essentially cleaning up that whole process and streamlining it, making them digital, taking a lot of the legwork out.
How do you do that? Because I've gotten checks before. So when I started our business, I was surprised that, you get these new clients on and you just assume they're going to ACH you or whatever. And then I don't even check my mailbox most of the time. And they're like, sent you that check 2 weeks ago. I'm like, oh crap, like my bad. Like,
yeah. And I think, the process is having the infrastructure in place, setting up the incoming bank account for you. Let's say you wanted to take on clients in Europe or in Canada.
I do want to take on clients in Europe and
Yep.
Canada.
So
in fact, I literally just signed Canadian client yesterday.
Yeah, and so let's say your client wants to pay you in Canadian dollar.
I wouldn't allow it.
Okay,
I'm
fine.
just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. I should probably be more open-minded. Yes, I will take your Canadian dollars.
I'll take any. Yeah. So we can essentially provide you with a Canadian denomination account to help you receive those funds and then send it back to your own bank account. So you're not dealing with any checks, either incoming or outgoing. We're digitizing the whole process, right?
That's really interesting. So we did have Adam and I were up there in Canada in the spring, but it was still snowing out. And we did have a Canadian client up there. We had a couple of Canadian clients send us some checks. I don't know how they did it though. Did they send us in US dollars or did they send us in Adam's like, I don't know, man. I just make videos, bro. Yeah, I should probably look at that and be like, did we get paid in American dollars?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what should I be doing other than just burying my head in the sand and pretending it's not a problem?
You can sort of lay the ground for the infrastructure, so we can set up an account for you. So we can set up a Canadian denomination account for you, or
So what does that mean, a Canadian denominator? Like, walk me through what this means. Like, so I have like I'll bank at Chase, right? And so like I have a Chase bank account, which is an American denomination account. I guess I'm guessing. That's all that goes in there. What if I came to you and said, Alice, I just signed a Canadian client. They're gonna pay me $25,000. What should I be doing?
essentially, once you onboard with us, we can help you accept those Canadian denomination
Okay.
funds and send that back to your own account in US dollars. And the benefit of doing that is the account is based in Canada, so your client is not paying any fees. Um, and so you're not losing any money there. There's tighter exchange rates on that transaction, and it's much faster settling times.
So basically when I sign a client in another country, which I intend to do quite a bit, I'm gonna call you and be like, okay, I got a client in Britain who's gonna pay me in GBP. I got a client in Canada who's gonna pay me in CAD. I've got a client in Switzerland. Well, they paid. That's funny because they're a U.S. entity, but they had
Yep.
offices in Switzerland. Okay, and then I'll just call you. And so, like, is it worth doing for like a one-off transaction, or is it not worth doing until I have like a quantity of
No,
transactions?
it's worth doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll help facilitate most of the major currencies. So Corpay delivers into 200 countries, and we deal in 145 different currencies. So we'll pretty much be able to handle a lot of these payments.
This is interesting. All right, Mark is steadily research. Thank you, Mark. Steadily researching this Chinese issue here. Mark says it allows you to transact business in China and bill clients in local currency. It's very expensive to set up the wholly foreign owned entity as high as $1 million. Many people refer to it in the slang as a woofie. I guess the WFOE is a woofie. That's funny. Wow, it costs that much money to set up the entity. Wow.
Yeah, and it's good to have all of these different players that play a specific role. So you're in the recruitment space. You have Aaron, Southbound Relocation, which is in the housing space. You have Acme Shipping, which is in the logistics space. So everyone plays a role. For example, I'm not well versed into the woofie, but we facilitate the payments. We're very good at it. We're very good at it. That's all we do. So we're only dealing in the foreign currency.
Yeah. So you're like the foreign payments people. And so
Yeah.
any payments across currencies, any foreign payments, you can get involved and really be that kind of consultant that so I can call you up and just be like, hey, this is what I'm gonna do. What do you think?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you give me an opinion on it.
Yeah. And we work with our clients to build out a strategy for risk management.
So when you say like risk management, like I think of like what does risk management mean to you in terms of currency?
So using forward contracts or hedging and limit orders.
Okay.
So limit order would be let's say USD CAD is trading at 1.30 right now, but you really want 1.35.
Sure I do.
Yeah, if that's what you want and you have a bunch of Canadian dollars sitting there, you could set a trigger for which is called a limit order. And let's say you want to trade 25K at 1.35. We'll set that trigger. If it hits any time, let's say in the next 2 weeks, you can set an expiration date on that. If it hits, we'll fulfill the order for you. So instead of watching a ticker all
constantly
day,
checking in, like, is it there? Is it there?
yeah, and so just using these tools, we're able to help our clients sort of build out almost an insurance product for their forex transaction needs.
Are companies in our space operating at that level of sophistication? Or are we more just like transactional, like, hey, I gotta send an invoice, do it for me, please?
So it depends. Some of the larger RMCs would obviously have a finance department that is well versed in foreign currency risk management, and then smaller firms would be dealing in a lot of spot transactions. So they have funds coming in, they'll trade, and so we work with smaller clients, we work with larger enterprise clients, really um, every sector.
Really interesting. Travis is saying, is that like the airlines buying fuel in advance at a set price to ensure price volatility doesn't affect them throughout the year?
Almost.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Except you're buying money, which is way cooler than fuel. Because, well, I guess you could burn both of them. But anyway, yeah, cool stuff. People are actually kind of fascinated by this topic.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I attend a lot of these conferences, and people are just curious as to where foreign currency fits in. I mean, you'll have a lot of RMCs in the room, you'll have logistics companies in the room, and there's me. So
do you feel like you stick out, like in the room, like you're not?
No, I don't. A little bit. I mean, obviously, I'm new to Dallas, and so a lot of the local folks sort of took me under their wing and have been introducing me around and showing me a lot of different restaurants. I know you and Aaron on your podcast were talking about barbecue.
Yes. Are you a barbecue person?
I am. Yeah.
Okay. All right. You open the door. Let's walk
Yeah.
down the path here. So barbecue. What kind of barbecue do you like?
I hit up a few barbecue places. So Heim's Barbecue, I think.
Himes. Okay.
Panther Island.
I've not heard of these. Where are these?
Closer to Fort Worth.
Oh, see, now you're talking.
Yeah.
Fort Worth. Have you gone to Fort Worth yet? Proper?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Bought a hat.
Got a hat?
Bought the shoes.
Got the boots?
Got the boots. Yeah.
Oh, you're ready to rock.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So yeah, Aaron and I were down in Fort Worth one time with some corporate friends of ours from a company not to be named. But we had a good time. And I love Fort Worth. Fort Worth's one of my top 5 cities to go hang out.
Yeah.
I love the stockyards. I just think we call it Cowtown. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. It's like going to a place that it doesn't even feel like this time and place. It feels like another time and place.
Yeah, and especially coming from Toronto, it's a big change, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's huge change. Although there's probably places in, I don't know, maybe like Alberta or something.
Yeah, yeah. So Alberta, a lot of people call it Canadian Texas.
Canadian Texas?
Yeah.
Well, some people call Texas American Alberta. No, they don't. They really don't do that. Michelle saying hard 8 barbecue in the colony.
Okay.
Michelle, I like it. I like it. I think that it's gone downhill a little bit, in my opinion. I like the open air pits, and like when you go in there, you saw the food laying out. I would say I like what's Hutchins, the one over here. They got a drive-through up in McKinney, but they got the new location over here in Frisco, Hutchins Barbecue.
Okay.
Oh, tremendous. Charles is saying interesting about Alberta, more rural, I'm guessing. Charles, I was in the stockyards, I don't know, maybe a month ago for a bachelorette party. It was a long story. But we're in a bar and we're watching a rodeo. And the rodeo, like, who's doing a rodeo right now in the middle of July? And it was up in Alberta. In Alberta, they were doing the rodeo.
Okay.
And it looked like it could have been Wyoming or
Yeah.
something like that. So, yeah. Charles is saying Hutchins is awesome. Got to get there early. Have you tried Hutchins yet?
No.
What side of town do you live on, Alice?
I'm on the Fort Worth side.
Oh man, you are Fort Worth. What did you think of Fort Worth? What was your impression when you were there?
It's really nice. I mean, you're close enough to Dallas to be able to get in, but like a lot quieter.
Why did you choose Fort Worth when you relocated?
So me and my partner relocated together.
So what, it was his fault?
It's his fault.
You're blaming him for it? No, I mean it's an interesting choice. Like honestly, I like the choice. I mean, Fort Worth has so much character. I think that's one of the knocks on Dallas is like it doesn't have people say it doesn't have personality. I disagree, but I get what they're saying. It's not Austin, it's not San Antonio, it's not Fort Worth. It's more like Houston. People might even argue that Houston has more, but I think Dallas has its own style, its own character.
Yeah.
It's probably the most cosmopolitan city in Texas, I think. It's very suburban heavy, which people also like to knock. Mm-hmm. But I don't know.
It's a good spot.
Yeah. What about the Mexican food, the Tex-Mex?
Oh, Joe T. Garcia's.
Joe T's, sure, out in Fort Worth.
Yep. I don't know any other.
That's
names.
That's okay. Here's one for you that Aaron loves. Hurtados.
Hurtados. Okay.
Well, Hurtados, but
Hurtados.
they kind of drop the H, right? It's like Hurtados, you gotta say like Hurtados.
Okay.
But Hurtados, yeah, and I think it's out in the Arlington area. Adam, we went over there. We went over there with the team that one time. Got people looking at us through the bubble here. Hey, what's going on? How you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, so the food here in Texas, what do you think? Is the food good?
It's great.
Is it better than Toronto?
So it's different. Toronto is a super diverse city.
Yes.
And so the type of food is different, but quality of food here is great.
Yeah. I think Dallas is a lot more diverse than people give it credit for.
It's true. I wasn't expecting Dallas Fort Worth to be as diverse as it is.
Yeah, I think obviously, a lot of Latino population, a lot of Asian population here too. I just a lot of folks come here. It's a really great economy. Dallas is the 4th largest city in the United States.
Yep.
We're going to be 3rd. Watch out, Chicago. We're coming for you. 10 years or less. That's what the economists are saying here. Let's have some fun. You want to have some fun?
Sure,
We're talking business. We're talking money, all this stuff. I want to have a little fun. Let's see what the comments are looking like here. Charles Beatty, have you been to Joe T. Garcia's? Sounds like she has been. Have you been to Javier's? It's like a Joe T's.
I haven't, but it's on my list.
Here's the deal with Javier's, and me and Aaron fight about this. I think the food is overrated at Javier's. But the back bar, they have a cigar bar / like whiskey, tequila, whatever. Nice.
Okay.
Real nice, real old school. A lot of wood.
Okay.
If you're in the wood, a lot of wood. Oliver says Tender Smokehouse. Now that's some good eating. Okay. Oliver Dubester. What's up, Oliver? Hit that like button. Let us know what we're missing out here. Michelle, okay, still getting my Texas barbecue legs. So thanks for the recommendations. Yeah, Michelle, for sure. Check out Hutchins. Charles says love Javier's. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's better Mexican food though, right? I mean, anyway. Listen, I'll take Javier's. Like, I'll go there right now. Like, if you want to go to Javier, we'll go. Yeah. But I'm saying. All right, let's have some fun here. You want to have some fun?
Yep.
Want to play a game?
Okay.
All right. You know what time it is, everybody. We are playing your favorite game. Overrated, underrated. That's the way we like to end the show. Overrated, underrated. Alice, do you know how to play the game?
I think so.
Well, it is as simple as it sounds. Okay. There are only 2 rules. I will give you a topic, and you will tell me if it is overrated or underrated. Those are your 2 options. No more, no less.
Okay.
Second rule is I will tell you if you are correct.
Okay.
And you at home can play and always tell Alice if she's on or off base about any of these things. Let's see. Christina's here. Jillian's here. I could pass on Javier's food. Thank you, Jillian. Thank you. Like the vegetables, very provincial. Anyway, yes, Jill. Thank you. This is great, Joe T. People are all in on the Joe T. I just tuned in. Time to hear the food out. You know, that's all we talk about anyway, Christina. Hit that like button. We're getting into, you're here right in time, Christina. We're getting into the overrated, underrated. We've actually got a bonus. We've got 6 overrated, underrateds today. Speaking of doing the most out here, this is us. Let's hop right into it. Overrated, underrated. Modern art. What say you?
Overrated.
Alice? Overrated. Okay, defend your position.
The banana with duct tape.
What is that even modern art? Like, what is that? Was like, is that a gat? What did that sell for? That was at the, explain the banana with the duct tape.
It was, there was a bidding and it was bid at $1 million or so.
Yeah, it was at the Art Basel or something down in Miami, maybe something like that.
I think so. And then someone came and ate it.
Yeah, so you buy $1 million banana, somebody eats your banana. Well, not to mention the fact the whole thing is depreciating, right?
Yeah.
A banana is good for like a couple of days. Once you put duct tape on a banana, like these bananas are very finicky.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about the Banksy that somebody bought? And as soon as they closed on the auction, the gavel comes down, the Banksy drops from the frame and shreds itself.
Yeah.
I love Banksy though. That was gangster though.
But it wasn't paid for yet, I guess, right?
I thought somebody bought it.
Yeah, but maybe they haven't made payment on it yet.
See, this is the payment brain. Alice's payment brain. She's like, yeah, but they hedged, so it wasn't really that bad. There was risk management involved. Roger is saying, yes, I agree, overrated. You know what? Listen, yes, is the banana overrated? Yes, the banana can't be real. But then, like, there's other modern art that I don't know. I kind of dig, you know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I see your point. You bring up a good point. Aaron saying I'm eating a banana as we speak, or as you speak. Haha, how funny. Aaron's laughing at her own joke. You know, I'll laugh with you, Aaron. That is funny. Question is, why would you eat something you could sell for $1 million? Don't think about that. Christina, quote of the day. Those bananas are finicky. They are finicky. If you hold a banana in your hand for 2 hours, it will brown. Also, do you know you should not put your bananas next to your apples in your fruit bowl?
Yeah.
Because apples ripen bananas. So if your bananas are turning brown on you, it's no bueno. Underrated. It was shredded. Just saw a Banksy in New York City. Where was it? Was it up on the wall? Was it graffiti? Let me know, Michelle. Throw a link in there. All right, next. Underrated, overrated. Title insurance.
It's underrated.
Underrated. You know, I get that take a lot on this show.
Yeah.
Sell me.
So I do own real estate. Let's say you purchase a property and once you take receipt of this property, you find out that the property lines were not drawn properly and your neighbor is actually encroaching on your property. You can go through title insurance for that.
Title insurance will take care of that. Mm-hmm. You know what? That is one of the best examples, because when I was in Michigan, my neighbor kept like building his flower beds bigger and bigger and bigger into my property. And I'm like, bro, you gotta back up, bro.
I mean, encroaching in terms of structures. So let's say
flower bed's not a structure; it's a bed.
No. Yeah.
You're saying I couldn't use my title insurance for that? All right, then I think it's overrated. We have shout out to Faye Hawksworth who comes on here, and let me ask you, title insurance. Have you made a claim on title insurance before?
No.
Okay, so theoretically it's underrated, but in actuality, perhaps it's overrated.
It's essentially an insurance policy.
I hate insurance. I hate it. I feel like it's a scam. All right. I don't know. Let's see here. I did that and my wife got, whoa, Roger. Take it easy. It's a family show. Let's see. Oliver says, "Gotta run." Yeah, thanks, Oliver. Appreciate you checking in, checking out. This is great. Overrated, underrated. Waiting in line for a pop-up store. Extremely specific. Waiting in line for a pop-up store. Overrated or underrated?
Overrated. I come from Toronto and there's always pop-up stores coming up. I think In-N-Out Burger created a pop-up stores and there's lines around the block for 2 hours, I
Does it matter what the store is that's popping up?
think. No.
There's nothing you would wait online for 2 hours for? What was the last thing you waited online for 2 hours for?
Airport security.
Airport security. Was that at Toronto? Is that it? What is it? XYZ? What do y'all?
YYZ.
YYZ. Thank you. Sorry. YYZ. All right. Yeah, I actually got stuck in the Toronto airport last time I was there. It happens a lot. Oh my gosh. I was hanging out with the Colorado Mammoth lacrosse team.
Okay.
Apparently, they're all a bunch of hockey players that come down to Colorado and play lacrosse.
Okay.
They go back and they're like plumbers during the week. It's super interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we hung out. Yeah, I don't know. I've never waited in line for a pop-up store. I have waited in line for concert tickets. I waited in line for Dallas Mavericks finals tickets as well when those drop. Because if you can catch them for face and then resell them, I'd wait in line for some messy tickets, although not in this August heat. Yeah, interesting. No, I've never waited in line for a pop-up store. I've been to pop-up stores like in Bryant Park in Manhattan, but I never had to wait in line for one. That Mr. Beast burger stuff,
Okay.
that kind of shenanigans, wouldn't do that. Yeah, I agree. Overrated. Although I do like the idea of pop-up stores. Overrated, underrated. Working at the office. Be careful. We're in an office.
I think it's a little overrated.
Okay. Why?
I think hybrid is where the world is going.
Yeah, I mean that's what Saturday and Sunday are, right? I mean that's the hybrid. I'm just kidding. I'm not that ridiculous.
Yeah, and the ability to go to different cities and attend conferences and visit your team in different areas, I think is important as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you work in the office at all?
So I work from home here, and then when I'm in Toronto, I'm actually in an office.
Okay.
That's our headquarters.
So you're like seasonally hybrid. You're like, if I'm in town, I'm here. If I'm out of town, I'm not here. I dig it. I like it. Overrated working in the office. I mean, I agree. I think maybe 5 days might be somewhat overrated. Well, you know what? I think it was overrated. I think we've swung the other direction where people are like, we don't need to be in an office. We're more productive at home. Studies were saying that. I think studies have changed now and are saying that hybrid people are as productive.
Yep.
Fully remote are actually less productive. I was actually reading this. And I do think there's a lot to be said for an office environment. Gosh, I mean, we invest in it.
Yeah.
We believe in it, but we do have people that are fully remote.
Yeah.
And I also do think that they could be more productive if they were here, or at least would benefit to some degree from having more collaboration. I do think that there's also a bias towards what's called a proximity bias now, right? So like if you're around more, you get more FaceTime, you get more maybe more opportunities, things like that.
Yep.
So I think that there's a lot to be said for that. Let's see here. Michelle saying underrated, missing the company culture that makes the company unique and building a pipeline. Talent pipeline, I assume you mean, Michelle? Yeah, I would agree with that talent pipeline. It's interesting to see the dynamic changing with this as well, too. I mean, I was talking to a CFO at a bank recently out in Fort Worth, actually, or the bank's in Fort Worth, but he's not in Fort Worth.
Okay. But
he was hired remotely, but now they're going to announce 5 days in the office.
Right.
And he is losing his mind. But I'm seeing this more and more where people are like, no, we're coming back in 3 days, 4 days, probably be 5 days at some point. I think when markets get soft and economies get soft, tough times happen. People like to kind of come together and like kind of rally around that, kind of coalesce around a problem in an office. And strategize and things like that. There's a lot of trust that can be built in those moments. So I think that's going to continue to fuel the return to office. But companies are going to, continually be faced with, am I willing to draw a hard line, which means I'm going to lose certain people we have on the team now, and am I willing to go replace them with people who are in office? But I think it's really interesting from a global mobility standpoint, because when people are in office, they are less mobile, technically from a business travel standpoint.
Yep.
But the requirement to be in office would dramatically increase, I believe, relocation volumes, corporate relocation volumes, because then it would mean companies would actually move people to be close to the office. So I think it would be good for our industry if we did, if people return to office. Let's see what Christina's saying. I hate waiting for responses or feeling disconnected. I don't want to work in the office full time, but I do love when I get the opportunity to be around other humans. Yeah, that's the rub, right?
I think there just has to be a balance. It's really great to be in the office to collaborate with your colleagues and to get different ideas from different people. But I think it's also good to be able to work remote or attend a conference and be in different areas as well.
Yeah, there's definitely some magic to the in person. This show's going like way better because we're here together than it would be if we're like,
Yeah.
hello, no, you, no, you go, no,
Yeah.
no, I'm good. I'll just mute. It's like,
Yeah.
okay. Michelle, yep, so much knowledge learned by someone. Yeah, cool. Awesome. All right, underrated, overrated. Trust falls. Ropes courses. Team building exercises.
I think it's underrated. I love team building exercises.
What is your favorite team building exercise?
We went axe throwing and paintballing, rock climbing.
Paintball. That's interesting.
Yeah. So I think it's really good to get your team to loosen up and really bond. I mean, because you see, for example, some of your managers or superiors in a corporate setting, and maybe you're scared of them. And so when you're able to let loose, I think it really helps build that cohesive team. So, yeah.
So, like, how fun was it to shoot your boss with a paintball gun?
I didn't.
You did. You had the shot.
No,
Take the
I
shot.
had the shot. I
shot.
didn't. No.
Did you have the shot?
I did.
And you chose not to shoot your boss? You're like, hey, Tom, I didn't shoot you. Remember that on my review. Should have shot your boss. Is your boss watching?
No, I don't.
Does your boss know that you didn't shoot them? Did
Oh,
you
I
remind
don't.
them at least?
Mm-mm.
Oh, man, missed opportunity. I would have shot him so many times. That's just me, though. I was just always that guy,
Yeah.
Probably explains why I don't work anywhere anymore. This is fun. This is great. So your favorite one was?
I think paintball is really nice. Axe
Who did
throwing
you
was-
shoot?
Oh, colleagues. I
Colleagues.
mean, hey, you're
Lateral violence.
Lateral.
No hierarchical violence. Lateral.
lateral violence.
Like you weren't coming at
Yeah.
the throne. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I got you though. I got you. Note to self. Alice is about lateral violence. I like it. I dig it.
Don't
though.
go paintballing.
Don't go
with
paintball,
Alex.
Alice. Don't turn your back on her for one moment. Christina says this undercover introvert says overrated. I don't find value in forced networking. I want to do it organically. What do you think about that take?
I think some people have a harder time coming out to events, but I feel like office dynamics are a bit different than after hours dynamics, right? And so you want to see that other side of them.
Yeah.
Right.
And Christina, as an extrovert myself, somebody says we're going paintballing, I am very skeptical, apprehensive, nervous. Like, I mean, I'm not looking forward to it, but I'm probably going to enjoy it when I get into it. So I don't think that's just for introverts, but I do think there's something about like orchestrating or creating these environments where people are forced to get a little outside of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
It's kind of part of the process in a way.
It is. You sort of show what you're made of, right?
Yeah, and who you are, and like it's the same thing with doing podcasts. I always kind of call these micro trauma events. So like we're gonna go through this together, this micro trauma of kind of public speaking on a little digital, version.
Yeah.
And after this, we're going to have a bond.
Yeah.
Because we went through this weird, awkward, scary thing together. And it's the same thing with, getting shot in the back by Alice on a paintball course. That's how I envision it, at least.
Yeah. Very
Stealthy.
likely.
That's cool. Let's see. Last one here. Overrated, underrated, remote work.
I think it's underrated.
How is that possible this day and age? Underrated, remote work. I feel like we're like a remote first society, and you still think it's underrated.
Yeah.
Okay. How? Why? Tell me.
I think giving your employees the choice
choice
is
is
really
good.
important.
People like choice. But do people make the right choices?
Not always.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
feel like there's things in my life that I need somebody to make choices for me, like my retirement account. I need some help there. I could probably use a dietitian if I'm being 100% right now, okay? There's things in my life that I could use somebody making choices for me, okay? My wardrobe, I got this, no problem, okay?
Yeah.
But there's like there's things that I could, like foreign currency payments, I could probably use some help there.
Yeah.
I feel like if left to my own devices, I don't know that I'm always making the best choice. And I feel like remote work is one of those things where if people were given full leeway, they'd probably be doing 5 days a week in at home. And yet we are also saying that there's benefits to being in the office.
There's benefits to both sides. I think the future is remote work, is hybrid.
Hybrid work. Yeah, I think you're right there. Nori's saying underrated. Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't know. Let's see here. Roger's saying, Christina, no conventions for you. No forced networking. Christina, we love you. This is great. People are enjoying this. Yeah, I could, Roger. Yeah, true story. This is a lot of fun. I know we're a little over time here, but that's cool. It's my show. I do what I want. Let me ask you, Alice, as we kind of wrap up here. What kind of final thought you want to leave people with today?
I think just that all the players in the room in the space of global mobility play a part, and we're all part of an ecosystem. And so it's really good to be able to leverage each other's expertise. For example, recruitment, you probably go to Glomo.
You should if you're smart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some
And
people aren't smart.
and that's the thing. We're all reliant on each other to sort of play a role in the industry. And yeah, it's a good ecosystem, and there's a huge sense of community, and the DFW area is really great for fostering some of that as well. So really lucky to be in the DFW area.
Well, you're lucky, but you also chose to be here.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the cool thing about global mobility too, and relocation. And I always say, about immigrants, right? It's like they are the entrepreneurs of the world. They decide, hey, I'm going to go over here because this is where the opportunity is, and I'm going to go flourish. And I believe in myself. I'm betting on myself. I'm going to find the best possible life for me and my family and everything. And they do it. And you chose to be here at DFW. I chose to be at DFW.
Yeah.
I was in Detroit 3 years ago. Adam, our producer, born and raised born in Mexico, but raised in New Mexico, and lives in Omaha, and finally figured it out. Dallas is where it's at.
Yeah.
Our whole team. I mean, so I think DFW is kind of like low key, like the new global mobility epicenter. For a long time, it was like Danbury, Connecticut, because there were some major players, and parts of Arizona and parts of Chicago. But when I look around at like what's popping, what's growing, what's getting, even like events like Y Texas and some of these things that are coming up. Have you been to Y Texas yet?
I have not, but I saw the event.
I got to go. I've never been either, but I hear it's like phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's probably like the way a relocation event should be run, to be honest with you. So anyway, point is, in my opinion, Dallas, I mean, we got a bunch of RMCs here.
Yep.
Got some world-class service providers, best recruitment in the business, best, global payments in the business over here, so it's kind of where it's at. So if, by the way, shout out and we'll plug NTRP is having their conference on, I want to say the 21st of September, but the day before, come in the day before, because we're doing the North Texas truck pull, the North Texas Relocation Professionals truck
Okay.
pull. You know about this?
No.
For Move for Hunger?
No.
Well, we're pulling a truck.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
several of us, like teams of us, are pulling trucks.
Yep. I'll
You
be
seem
on
like
the
you seem like you
sidelines.
no, you seem like you'd be down for this. Listen, trucks aren't, first of all, they're not as heavy as they look.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
You throw it in neutral, that thing moves. Okay. Getting it started, just like anything in life, is most of it. Okay. Booze helps, just like anything in life. But you seem like a thrill seeker. You seem adventurous. You're rock climbing. You're paintballing. You're Ducatiing. You can do this.
I don't think I can pull a truck.
It's a team event. It's
I'll
a
watch
team
from the
event.
sidelines, and I'll cheer you guys on.
It's a team event. Christina's saying I'm going to Y Texas and HR Southwest.
Yeah.
Lots of fun stuff going on. Christina, you going to come up to the North Texas Relocation Professionals? Love to know. We're also going to be doing an event, just to plug Move for Hunger again. September is Hunger Action Month.
Okay.
And so I think it's September. It is the 6th. Oh, geez, that's going to be tough. We're doing the charity event at the food bank where we're going to be volunteering. So we're looking for like a half dozen people to support that. We'll be doing a podcast live from the food bank. So we'll be volunteering from 1 to 3:30 and doing a live podcast as well.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. So you might want to check that out as well.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for being here with us. Alice Fu from Corpay. Thank you for being here.
No, thank you.
It's been a lot of fun.